Good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the bullpen. My name is David Drring.
Mr. David Drring, and I'm Jamie Ramage. For your hearing pleasure.
And for us, the seeing pleasure.
We have a guest today, which is always good.
We do. We have a musician from the fine city of Pittsburgh. It's Mr. Shane Cepull. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing well. Thank you guys for having me on.
Yeah, no worries. So, you are, as I've just said, a musician. You play bass, if I'm correct.
Correct.
So, was that your first, introduction to learning an instrument? Was that your first choice, or is that have you started with something else and then found your way to the bass, or?
So I started out playing guitar in high school, real late high school. I was real late to the curve. Just kind of self-taught and everything. But then in college, I gave orientation to all the freshmen and everything like that, and that's how I ended up meeting all my band members. And I was the only one in the band who wasn't good enough at guitar to continue playing guitar. So I became a bass player out of necessity. I did not want to play the bass, but I actually do prefer playing bass now over guitar, just because I was forced to, essentially. So yeah, no, so I kind of just fell into it. And yeah, it's just a good time. So, I also had to sing too, which that was also interesting.
So did that alter your? So I'm guessing when you learned guitar, you tend to listen to your favorite bands and try and listen to the guitar and then try and play along to it. Mm-hmm. Did learning the bass change that in any way? Did you start listening to different bands or different kinds of music?
Definitely opened my eyes to more bands, because a lot of the favorite bands I listen to are just really good punk rock bands and stuff like that. Where the guitar is just in your face and that's all you hear. And since I still play that kind of similar music, you definitely have to get your ear attuned. So I started off really getting into Green Day again with Mike Dirnt, their bass player. I think his lines are just they cut through really well. They're super simple, but they challenge you enough to move around the bass a little bit more. But then, you start getting into crazy stuff. I got into a lot of prog and stuff like that, which I can't play very well, but my drummer always challenged me to play it. So bands like Chon and Polyphia and stuff like that. I can't play anything Polyphia related, but Chon I kind of navigated my way around. Just absurd time signatures and everything like that. And a lot of the times you could really hear that bass well because they're just doing something absolutely zany in the background. So It just really helped me tune my ear to that. And
so what's the relationship like with the drum in your current band then? Is that something that you really nailed down now? Is that it's almost a sort of, what he's going to play and he knows what you're going to play? Or is
so the band I'm in, we started in late 2018, early 2019. And he's still the only one that has been playing with me since then. We've had a couple lineup changes, which no problem there. But we're definitely the ones who just link up and sync up the most, just because we're the rhythm, so we kind of have to be super tight.
Yeah.
And it just happened to be that the rhythm has been the thing that's been the most consistent in the band. So yeah, I definitely say we probably do have the tightest connection. I can see where he's gonna go with it, and then I usually just kind of follow that. So
that's awesome. Yeah, because I always find it's with some musicians it can be instant. You as a bassist, you connect with the drummer instantly.
Yeah.
And sometimes it can just take a little bit of time. Let's say
For
you're
sure.
a bit of a I don't know. He's a metal drummer, and you're more into slower rock, and it's it's not always in sync, but when it works, it sets the basis for the entire band. It wouldn't work without it, pretty much.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Yeah. We definitely started cross paths in terms of our musical, what we both prefer to listen to. I never listened to progressive metal or jazz fusion before I knew this kid. I was nowhere near that stuff. I listened to crappy MySpace metalcore and punk rock music. And then he was like, "Oh, dude, you should listen to this band. It's the zaniest stuff I've ever listened to." I'm like, "Whoa, this is cool." And then I would show him some stuff. He'd be like, "This is sick." And then we just kind of cross paths in that way. And then when our guitar player that we're playing with now, he's been in the band for like about 2 years now. He threw another wrench in it too, and threw like more musical stuff that we didn't like know a lot about, and it just like we all like work really well together right now too, which is awesome.
Yeah, so. Yeah, it makes such a difference as well. Like even just rehearsing stuff, like you get there, you set up, and it's like you're in. There's no like it doesn't need to click. It's just bam, you're there. Yeah. So let's talk about your current band then, Main Street Detour. What was it like? So you guys, when did you say, like 2018, 2019, you got together? So you get together, you start writing music, you get excited about playing live music, and then 2020 hits, and you can't do that. Like, what was that like mentally? Like, you worked so hard at something, all of a sudden it's like, no, sorry, you can't do that.
Yeah, it was rough because like live music just in general just absolutely suffered during the pandemic, like across the whole board. Like, yeah, you could put out a record, but where are you gonna play? Yeah. Like a bunch of venues around Pittsburgh started dropping like flies. I mean, even some bands were just like, okay, well, I mean, if this is a possibility, then why are we in this career? You know? So like a lot of people were just dropping out, and it was just weird because I used to see them on a day-to-day basis because we all went to the same school, and now I didn't. So writing sessions became very interesting over Zoom. And
really?
Yeah. So we wrote over Zoom because that's when we really started writing the first EP we put out. In later 2020 that's when we really started to get the ball going. For like the first year, we were basically a glorified cover band. Yeah, it was an all right time.
It's fair enough.
Yeah. So we had to start somewhere. So we did that, and then we just decided to write. But then, you know, the world blew up, and yeah. So it was interesting just trying to navigate that whole thing because like we have a pretty prevalent house show scene around Pittsburgh stuff too. So like cool. Even if you don't play like DIY venues or actual venues, like people just be like, hey, come to my house and play in my basement, and then you just get like 50 or 100 people there just jam packed in a room, and it's really cool. So we tried doing stuff like that to adhere to the CDC guidelines. Like later in the middle of 2020, we only got one show in, and it was an outside show at my buddy's farm because we could social distance and we could market it as like, hey, everybody can stand wherever the heck they want to. But yeah, other than that, we literally didn't do anything else during 2020. We just got together at my guitarist's house, recorded, put that out, and then did nothing with it until like April, I think, of 2021, when the vaccines and stuff started rolling around. Like people were starting to like cool off about it. Yeah, it was rough, especially since we didn't have anything to our name. You know, like I said, we were just playing covers and stuff. So they're like, oh, we can put out our music now, and it's like, no, you can't. And so it just got further and further delayed. We didn't get enough momentum there, but we're in a good spot now, so I'm happy about it. But so, yeah, it was rough though.
What was that feeling like of finally being able to play that EP live then? Like the gap between writing the EP and actually finally playing it live, like that must have been like agonizing. So like, what was the initial like first gig back? Like you played the new stuff for the first time. Like, what was that like?
Yeah, so that gig that we played at the farm, we had like, I want to say like a little over half of it written. So we played like 2 or 3 songs, which people were like, oh, like that's cool. Like this is some cool original music and stuff. But then we had like the whole thing out, and it was like April, I want to say, and it just felt great. Like there was just this whole new energy to the live music scene again because people were just able to do it. I think people really took advantage of, hey, like, so we had that taken away from us. So like we need to like ramp up the energy and just like go for it. And so it was really cool. It was really special, like playing with all the bands, especially us. Like all the fans were just like happy to be there, and it was a good time. So it was definitely a great feeling to be able to play those songs live for people.
And so what did that alter the? So you say you half wrote the EP. Did that change the mentality then when you finished writing the EP? Like, did you use any of that in any of the existing songs or the new songs that you wrote? Did any of that sort of like make a difference?
Yeah, I mean, I think we became a lot more grateful for what we were trying to do. So I think a lot of that message might have cut through on some of the newer stuff we're writing now. Or, I mean, we definitely changed some of the arrangements around on the stuff we've recorded and put out just because we wanted to freshen it up live and stuff like that. So But yeah, no, I definitely would say that was a big part of it for sure.
And the Pittsburgh live scene, then, like what?
Mm.
Describe that. What's that like? Is it a good place to be for musicians?
It's kind of hit or miss. I'll be honest with you. It's I love all of the bands and all the musicians who play in it. Like everybody's like super down to earth. It's truly wonderful. Like really make a community out of it. But it seems like right now there's nobody like blowing up out of Pittsburgh just because like Pittsburgh is it's a small scene. It's not like huge. Like the only people I can think that have really blown up outside of Pittsburgh are like Wiz Khalifa.
Yeah.
Christina Aguilera went to a high school about 45 minutes north of me. Stuff like that, like really big pop stars. And I'm talking like, I mean, this is the 2000s, 2010s. You know what I mean? Mac Miller was also from here.
Oh yeah.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like the hip hop stuff is always, and rap has been huge here for a very long time. But the punk rock scene is really interesting. Like we have like Anti-Flag. I don't know if you guys are familiar with them,
Yeah.
but they're from Pittsburgh. We have a couple bands that that are pretty big from that. But other than that, I mean, it's small, tight knit. Everybody knows everybody. Everybody wants to collaborate. Like we do multi-genre shows like all the time. Like rap meets rock, all that stuff. The only scene I'm not too familiar with is like the indie scene around here. It's pretty sizable. I just haven't crossed paths with that. But I mean, in terms and also of like touring and stuff like that, it's a good space to be because Buffalo, New York is only 3 hours north. Cleveland is only about 2 hours northwest of us, and then you can go to like West Virginia. I mean, like it's just a good spot to go to other places. So it's also good in that regard. But like I said, the scene here, like itself here, is it's still growing, but it's cool.
Yeah, that sounds interesting. So so in many ways, like there could just be a breakout band at any moment.
Exactly. Yeah. And it seems like every like touring band that comes through here, like they always pull from the local scene to like get locals to open for them, which is cool because I know a lot of tours usually just have like a full tour package and like they just like don't accept anybody just because they're like, hey, we have 5 bands on the road. How the heck are we gonna get a local on here? But yeah, I mean like my band's opening for the Dangerous Summer in Lake Pacific, which is super awesome. I'm very grateful for that opportunity. But then some of my other buddies' bands like, oh, they opened for Neck Deep, who just came through, which was sick. And yeah, and it's just awesome. So like I'm happy that we have like such a good local scene to be able to fill those voids for the shows.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask you about the Dangerous Summer gig. Like, how did that happen? How did you find yourself to be supporting those?
Yeah, so this is probably our biggest show yet, which we're super, super excited for. My other buddy's band had to pull off the date because they just got a new lead singer and they want like the next gig to like come back to be like the best it can be. And they felt like they didn't have time to prepare for it. And so I said, hey, like, could you put a word in, like, say, like, if my band could fill your spot? He goes, oh, yeah, no problem. And then, like a day later, I get the email, like, asking us to play. I was like, oh, this is crazy. I didn't think that was going to work. Yeah, I was super stoked on that.
So you guys, I mean, who's in charge of the booking gigs then in the band? Who's the adult?
Basically, everything is me. So,
oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, besides, like, the writing and the creative stuff, like, I basically run the whole business.
So. Like, bookings, promo, social media, that's all you.
Yeah, booking, promo, social media, finances, merch design, you can name it. I pretty much do it all.
Wow. So, Jesus.
Yeah. It's a lot.
And it usually always is the bassist for some reason.
Yeah, it is kind of weird.
Let's talk about your band then and the sort of music you make. I mean, I listen to it and I think, like you say, Green Day. It's a pretty good example. A little bit of Weezer in there with some of the vocals. I mean, how would you describe yourself? Sort of like what were the bands that influenced the songwriting and stuff? Yeah,
I'd say on the first EP, it was definitely Green Day and Blink-182 and all that stuff. We were young, just kind of, and our old guitar player was like a Green Day mega fan. So that definitely cut through a lot there. We're still proud of what we wrote. Just definitely not a fully mature sound for what we wanted. And then the new single we released, that was our newest guitar player. Like he came to us with that song. Other than like our parts, he wrote everything. And I think it's a truly different sound for us. And I think we kind of fell into how he wrote more and just kind of liked what he was coming to the table with. And so like we got heavily influenced by the Philly pop punk scene. So
Okay.
our sister city on the other side of the state there, there's bands like Modern Baseball, The Wonder Years, Middle Fight. Like I could keep going. Like their scene's huge. Like they have like some of all of our favorite bands that have ever come out from that scene. And so we also worked with a producer over in the New Jersey Philly area, so he was really familiar with that sound for the new song, and so he did a really good job mixing it and everything. But yeah, so I'd say like right now we're probably gravitating more towards like the I believe it's called the Tumblr pop punk. It's like that like kind of downbeat like sad pop punk, like you hate your hometown kind of thing. So it's that kind of sound, and I think that's what we kind of grown towards.
It's like was it like a grunge meets punk, or like a early punk then, sort of like
Yeah,
like down tempo but really sort of emotional inwardly and that sort of thing.
for sure. Yeah.
You mentioned the single. Is that leading to another EP, or are you just taking it sort of one song at a time?
So we have about half a record written, like completely. We have not like fully recorded. Like we have demos and stuff like that, of course. It's just that we've been playing like a lot of shows recently. So like the amount of time that we have to write is just kind of individual. We can't really come together. Like when we come together, it's like, okay, we got to practice for X gig the next week or X gig in a couple days, or literally the day of, because we do that a lot. So we're trying to compile that. We're trying to get a spring release on a full length, we believe. Okay. So we're thinking like maybe like one or two more singles. We have one in the back right now that is going to be mixed and mastered here soon. So another single should be following up there. And I think when we put that single out is when we're going to have like an album or EP announcement.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Cool. Is that the same producer as the EP, or are you mixing it up?
So I think we might be mixing it up. I'm not entirely sure yet. That's another thing we have to discuss is we have friends and friends of friends all over the place who do this stuff. So we're just like, okay, like I guess we just got to sit down and listen to like 20 different mixes from a bunch of people and see what we like the best, you know? So.
I mean, you're in charge of finances, so that is your choice. I'm presuming.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll just be like, hey guys, so I sent this to 20 people, just pay me. So, yeah.
And then sort of later this year, after this gig on, is it Monday? It
is this upcoming Monday, yes.
Is that the last one of the year, or have you got anything else lined up?
Yeah, we got a couple other shows in the pipeline right now. We're playing another one in downtown and stuff like that. Just gonna be a fun gig there. We're trying to get a Christmas show together, just like as a fun gag, but because we have an absolutely abysmal Christmas song that was written in 10 minutes. But yeah, so we're trying to do something like that. We don't know if that'll actually pan out or not, but we're working on that.
Yeah, no, that sounds good. That sounds like you've got a lot to look forward to.
Absolutely.
Welcome back, everybody. We are joined by Mr. Shane Cepull from the fine city of Pittsburgh. How you doing?
Fine city, indeed.
the city of bridges, so reliably informed.
There's a lot of bridges, that's for sure. I think there's literally like 400 or something like that in the greater Pittsburgh area included.
Nice.
It's crazy.
How many have you visited?
Probably at least half of those. I mean, to get to the city from where I have to cross at least 3. And that's just like in the downtown area of Pittsburgh. So it's crazy.
I mean, off air, Jamie did like a ton of Pittsburgh research in the aim to test you about the city, I think, mainly.
Oh, no. Am I about to be a fraud?
And I've forgotten it all now anyway, so it's all good.
Just load up that Wikipedia page again.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, no.
Yeah, don't mind me Googling the answers if you ask me the questions.
Yeah. So on the Wikipedia it says that a lot of The Dark Knight Rises was filmed in Pittsburgh.
Correct.
Yeah. How does it feel to have like the Batman in your fine city?
I mean, I am a big Christopher Nolan fan too. I absolutely adore all of his movies. The Dark Knight itself is probably my top three of all time. But yeah, The Dark Knight Rises was filmed here, and I remember that it was a cool event. I know like a lot of the streets were like blocked off during certain times. I don't know if you're familiar enough with the film, but like whenever they do like the death or exile thing to make them walk out on the ice, like I'm pretty sure that's the Fort Pitt Bridge that they're under, and that's the bridge I take to get across to Pittsburgh, and it's like the most iconic bridge probably there. And so it's just really cool. Like you can see like the golden arches of the bridge above it, and like the city in the background. And yeah, I know. I think he referenced Pittsburgh for that movie because it does have that kind of like Gotham-esque feeling to it. It's a very historic city. It's quite old, honestly. So I think that fits the brooding mood of a Batman really well.
It always interests me that all movies seem to be filmed in like either Los Angeles or Vancouver. But it's like Christopher Nolan was like, no, we're going to go to like Pittsburgh. We're going to go film this movie there, and it's going to blow everyone's minds. Like there's a bit of CGI, let's be honest, but he hasn't used CGI to make another city look like your city. Like just straight to the source.
It's cool because I mean, like in terms of his like style of movie making, I just think it's absolutely absurd, but like wonderful at the same time. Like for Tenet, his newest movie, it was cheaper to blow up the Boeing 747 than it was to rent it for the shoot and then do CG on. So they literally blew up a plane. Like in the movie, like everything you see is like practical, which is absolutely absurd. And I'm just like, that's great. Like, I think that's amazing.
So, Jamie, what was the stat about the bars that you mentioned?
Oh, apparently there's more bars per capita in Pittsburgh than anywhere else in the US.
I believe it. Yeah, there's a lot of places to go and a lot of alcohol to be consumed for sure. Yeah, no, I mean there's many places in the city. Like one of my favorite places to go was the South Side. That's where like the big strip is. It's where so many of the bars are down there. A lot of cool small intimate music venues are down there too. So that's why I spent a lot of my time late high school and early college just running down there all the time. But yeah, it is kind of weird because like you think like, oh, all the bars are probably like densely condensed in one area, and no, they are all over the place. Like I feel like it's a last ditch effort if you're not doing like well as a business person, just open a bar and it'll do completely fine there. So, but yeah, it's interesting though that there definitely is a lot of bars. I did not know it was that high of a statistic. I didn't know we had that many.
I guess here our city like that would probably be Norwich because apparently there was like it was like a pub for every day of the year and a church for every week of the year, something silly like that. So yeah, twinning Pittsburgh and Norwich together, that's never been done before. But,
yeah, that's funny.
Yeah. So I guess it's quite a cultural city from what I gathered. Lots of museums, lots of parks.
Yeah, absolutely. We do have a lot of cool parks. It's a cool city overall because not many cities are like laid out like it in terms of its geography. I mean, it is literally like downtown is actually like, in my opinion, my least favorite place to go just because there actually isn't too much down there. It's a lot of business buildings. There's a couple cool restaurants, but unfortunately, a lot of the good ones really closed during COVID because you only go into downtown if you work there. You usually, or if you go to school there, because there's 2 universities downtown. But the surrounding area just has like so much life in it. I mean, it's an old steel town too, so you have that. I mean, Carnegie's Empire. I mean, we have like Carnegie, PA, literally named after him. You know what I mean? He funded all like the public libraries and all these beautiful buildings you see around there. Super historic town. So yeah, I mean, it's an old city for sure.
Is it your hometown then? Were you born there?
It is. Yeah, I'm about 30 minutes outside of the city, but yeah, I've been born and raised in Pittsburgh.
Nice.
Yeah, for better or for worse.
So, I mean, I'll ask, like, is there anywhere else in America or the world, like, that you would live? Or is this, like, your home and your spiritual home, like everything you need is there.
Everything I need is essentially here. I live like 20 minutes from an international airport, so if I needed to go somewhere, I could. But I mean, I fell in love with the city of Nashville. I went there plenty of times in the past couple of years, and I loved it there. I thought it was, I mean, Music City too, so it just kind of speaks to my soul, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, Nashville was great. I haven't made it out west yet, actually, to like LA and stuff like that. So that stuff piques my interest. But in terms of like a spiritual home, I'm pretty okay with where I'm at right now. So that'll probably change just because like I want to tour and like see more of the world and stuff like that. I'm sure I'll fall in love with some other place, but for right now, it gets the job done.
Are you a sports fan?
50-50. If you're talking about Pittsburgh sports, we're in a real rut right now. So I'm usually a hockey guy. So, but yeah, I mean, I follow football. I follow all that stuff. Yeah. So my family's a huge sports family. So I kind of have to fall into that.
That's real hockey, Jamie, not the hockey you play.
Oh no.
I play hockey only in shin pads, so you know.
Yeah.
Just saying.
You play with the ball on grass.
Yeah. It's on AstroTurf. So
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Big up to Houston.
Yeah, don't disrespect it, man.
Yeah, so it's a sport I've played in snow before as well. So I have kind of
almost.
Getting,
yeah.
so,
I couldn't play hockey to save my life. So kudos to you. Even if it was like field hockey or anything like that. I don't know. Yeah. I did like ultimate Frisbee. I did track and field and all that stuff. So like that was my shtick. But yeah, not anymore.
It's ultimate Frisbee.
But yeah.
Explain.
Are you not familiar?
I'm not. I don't know if you are, Jamie.
Have you? Yeah, surely you've seen Back to the Future 2, is it? 3, the one where they go out west.
That's 3.
Yeah.
3. Yeah. Michael J. Fox invents Frisbee throwing.
Oh wow.
And then
So ultimate Frisbee though, like that is.
Yeah. So it's essentially like it's like soccer/football mixed with Frisbee. So like when you throw, like when I say football, because you can't move, like you throw it and you stop, and then the goal is to basically just get to end zone to end zone and you play. There's like offsides. There's a bunch of rules. I don't have to get into the, all of that detail. But yeah, I think it's a blast. I mean, it's like super competitive, and I feel like it doesn't get the love and attention it deserves. But yeah, I mean, it's a blast. You just basically throw Frisbees back and forth and try to stop each other and, score points. It's a typical game.
It's just the idea of something being like ultimate anything, like instant is like, this is it.
Yeah. Yeah. The word ultimate isn't something I would exactly use to describe the sport itself, but that is just, I mean, that is what it is. So it sounds way more badass than it actually is.
Everyone's just like mad dogging everyone on the field, just like. Let's go into cinema then, because I know you're a huge film fan. I mean, you mentioned about Batman.
Oh yeah.
What have you seen recently that's piqued your interest? Like, what's good at the minute?
I haven't been to like the theater in a good while, but I did see Everything Everywhere All at Once that came out earlier this year, and I loved that film. I've watched it 4 times in the theater. Literally went 4 different times to go see it. I thought that was phenomenal. I saw the Doctor Strange movie. I wasn't too big of a fan on that. I was a Marvel junkie just because like that like started with me in high school and like it went all the way up through college. So like I was like there, like ride or die. Yeah. Kind of fell out of it. And then Doctor Strange 2 came out and I was like, it's like painfully mediocre. It's not like, honestly, I can't even remember much of the movie just because I was just kind of there. But yeah, I saw that, and then the Batman with Robert Pattinson earlier this year, or was that late last? Whenever it was, I saw that in theaters too, and it was remarkable. I thought it was really well done.
I think that was this year. I think wasn't it early? Was it early this year?
It was early this year. I believe so.
Isn't Michael Keating from roughly the Pittsburgh area region? Maybe.
I believe he is. Yeah, I couldn't tell you that for sure, but I mean, the legacy of the Batman apparently lives in the city. I guess I don't know.
And Jeff Goldblum.
I think I'll be honest with you. I don't know too much like pop culture about the celebrities that live here. I believe it though. I mean, there's plenty.
Yeah, David's a big Jeff fan. So.
Oh yeah.
You've got to be. Next Batman for me.
Oh dear.
But and Michael Keaton for me is my favorite Batman as well. Like just an actor as well. Like one of a rare actor that's like he's not a comedy actor.
Mm-hmm.
Everything he does just cracks me up. Like so deadpan with his delivery. Like, did you see? Is it Other Guys? Will Ferrell and Mark.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
That guy from Boston.
Yeah.
and Michael Keaton's like half, like police chief, half like Bed Bath and Beyond salesman, and he like both worlds cross over.
I love that. Yeah, I do remember that one. Gotta say though, Christian Bale I think is my favorite Batman.
Well,
and it's not even like just because like I love Christopher Nolan, so like I feel like I'm partial to Christian Bale. I don't know, his delivery is just like incredible. I watched like GQ does like this series where they like go through all of the like they'll have an actor and actress on there and they'll talk about that there was popular roles. And like Christian Bale is like just such like a humble, nice guy. And like I watched his interview about like the Dark Knight stuff, and I was like, man, like this guy's just like class act. Like he's just such a great actor. And yeah, I don't know. I just really gravitated towards his role in the Nolan trilogy. But Michael Keaton also does one hell of a job. So I mean, I can't. It's hard to pick, honestly.
It's anyone but Clooney, I'm guessing.
Yeah. Keep the nipple suit over there, man. We don't need that.
Yeah, I wonder if he's still got that at home. Just puts it on every now and then, just to impress his wife.
Yeah. The Robert Pattinson interview of that GQ series, he actually tried out for Batman in Clooney's suit because they had they had suits for the trials and stuff like that. And for some odd reason, he did that one, and he was like, "Yeah, it kind of felt weird to put it on, and like all that stuff." And so, I thought that was funny. But yeah, no, he definitely probably still has it at home. I'm sure his wife loves it.
Is there a future for Pattinson as Batman then, or is this someone that you can think of that would be like the ultimate actor for Batman?
I think they're working on like a trilogy with Rob, if I'm not mistaken. God, who directed that? It was Matt Reeves, I believe, who did that. And he's the one who did Planet of the Apes as well. So
really?
Yeah, the newer ones, I believe. So I think he said that they have a deal for a trilogy with Rob, which I think would be cool. I mean, I don't know if you saw the film, but he did a really good job for what it's worth.
I didn't actually see it. Did you see it, Jamie? I can't remember if you.
I did. Yeah.
Mentioned it. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm from the school of thought that all movies are 40 minutes too long. So yeah, that was a bit on the long side for me, but the aesthetic was interesting, and yeah, some of that was filmed in Glasgow as well, so I don't think they needed any CGI.
It's just naturally grey and dim.
Yeah.
I love that.
So DC or Marvel then? Which one? You got to ask people this question.
You're right. I mean, it's probably Marvel. Just because I just know so much more about it. Like I don't know, DC's kind of in the dark for me. And in terms of their cinematic universe, it is clearly a walking disappointment. So gosh, the Justice League that was rough. Like
Suicide Squad.
Like they just got so much going against them. I mean, like, and that's not even like judging the source material. Like I'm sure the source material is absolutely wonderful. Like I know my friends talk up like the animated shows that came out a while ago. Like they said those are phenomenal. It's more like thematic and not like so grandiose superhero. You know, there's like some discernible themes you can pull, which I think Marvel lacks a lot of the time. To be honest with you, I think it's just like, oh, how much money can we spend on a movie? You know, and it works for them. So I mean, but yeah, I mean, in terms of like movie source material, I'd probably have to say Marvel, but I'm open to my mind being changed.
Well, when I was younger, I guess the Superman films, the Christopher Reeves Superman films, were the films to see, and the Adam West Batman was still played on TV, so that's kind of my era of kind of superheroes. So, so yeah, I guess some of the modern ones are just can be a bit weird at times, I think.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I think technically Blade would have been the first one. I mean, apart from the Batman films, obviously they were always there, but I think like aside from that, I think Blade would have been the first superhero-ish comic book style movie I saw. And I think it's interesting. I think I've heard they're going to revive that as well, aren't they? Is that something?
Okay.
They are, yeah. And I believe they have the original actor coming back too, which is kind of cool.
Oh wow!
So.
Big up Wesley Snipes.
Yeah.
The world also needs more Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle films.
Maybe not directed by Michael Bay, but I'm on board.
I think that's a popular response actually from the guests that we've had on. It's like, let's have more turtles, but better.
Less explosions.
What did we say? I think we said Martin Scorsese should give it a go.
Oh, that'd be wonderful. I would watch that any day.
Like De Niro as Raphael. Just all these old mafia actors just playing turtles.
Yeah, gotta get Pacino in there.
Or someone like hilarious. I don't know, like Judd Apatow. Just give it a go. Just make it like really schlocky. Just like Will Ferrell plays all four turtles.
I'd love
Wilson that as Splinter.
Who?
Owen Wilson.
Owen Wilson.
Not even the good Wilson.
I can't remember if I asked you in email, Shane. So we asked all the guests to name something like underrated and overrated, and the response we get back is like wild. Like it could be anything. So I don't know if I asked you, if I did,
you did,
any time to think about that?
Yeah. So overrated, I said sushi. I think sushi is the most overrated food. Like I don't like it at all, and it's not like I love Chinese, Japanese, like Thai. I love all of that. Sushi just has to go. Like it's just not worth it. I don't know.
In the bin it goes.
Oh wow. Jesus Christ. Okay.
Is that a hot take?
I don't know.
I agree with it, but then I'm a fussy eater, so you know.
Okay.
We just outed you, man. I'm sorry.
I'll see you guys later. I'm just gonna sit over there and cry for a while.
Yeah, he's going to Wagamama's to have a bit of a cry. But there's no sushi now, so you know, unlucky.
So, okay, underrated then. What's truly underrated for you?
I said ultimate frisbee. I think it's underrated. It has the intensity of football. Well, I should say intensity of football because Americans love football. I don't get the appeal, but I digress. But yeah, like I don't know. I just think it takes a lot of finesse. Everybody I feel like in football, you know, it's like, okay, the QB has to be the one who knows how to throw, right? Yeah. And then if they want to throw a trick play, why not? Go for it. But like in ultimate, everybody has to throw. Everybody has to have that toolkit, and they have to do everybody else's job. Sure, there's people who there's positions and stuff like that, but I don't know. I just think it's super cool. And it's also interesting. The local team we have in Pittsburgh, like I went to one of their games once. It was like $8 to go to like a professional ultimate frisbee game. Like this is ridiculous.
Wow.
Granted, it was like $30 at the time to go watch a Pirates game, which is our professional baseball team, and they're the laughing stock of the city. But I digress. But it's cool because like they'll pull up like their name card and they'll be like, oh, he plays this position and is like a mechanical engineer. Like it's not a full-time job. Like it can't finance itself. So it's just interesting. You have these guys like running around with PhDs slinging frisbees. Like, it's just interesting. I don't know. It's like, oh, he's a professional athlete by night and 9 to 5 or by day, So
I'm gonna have to take this clip right here and send it to like every ultimate frisbee like organization, like everyone I can think of, and say, look, this is what you're missing out on. Like if you don't get the sport by now after listening to this, then there's no hope.
Is it got like a roller derby vibe to it then? Or is it?
I don't know if I'd go that far, but I'm also not too versed in that. But yeah, I mean, the fan base isn't very big, and I know people more gravitate more towards like disc golf and stuff like that as opposed to ultimate, just because like it's a little closer to home because people understand golf. So if you just replace it with a frisbee, it's the same thing. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it gets the love it deserves because I mean I've been playing it since like high school. Like I have a group that we get with every now and again. We'll play some games and stuff. It's just a blast. It's a good time to just run around. Even if you don't know how to throw a frisbee, you just catch it and you hand it off to somebody else. Anybody can do it. So
it's kind of a university sport over here. Most universities seem to have a team. So
yeah, a lot of universities have it here too. It's more of like a club sport. I don't know too many that take it like to the professional. Like you're gonna get scholarships if you go play frisbee somewhere. But I mean, I don't think it'd be unheard of for sure.
Have you seen a movie called Basketball? Out of interest.
I have not.
Whew, okay, so it combines like so many of like my favorite things. So you've got Matt Stone and Trey Parker, Matt Stone, South Park guys. They invent a sport called basketball, which is cross between basketball and baseball. The soundtrack is like late 90s punk rock.
Right on.
So you've got like Real Big Fish, did a load of songs, Less Than Jake, that sort of stuff.
Oh, there we go.
And it's all about getting a sport from the driveways to like an international stage. So what I'm thinking is get those guys back in town and say, look, here's a sport you can really get behind.
I think I'm behind it. Yeah.
or a dodgeball kind of film, I guess.
Oh yeah.
Dodgeball's iconic. Big fan.
Yeah.
You can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
Was it you, Jamie, I was talking to about that being like one of the last truly good sports films? Or sorry, sports comedy films, I should say.
I'm not sure. Maybe.
On
an episode about 2 years ago. I think we had a conversation because there was one about there was a film about green bowls that was kind of in a similar vein, kind of that zero to hero vibe. So yeah, that probably would be the last sort of comedy sports film.
Yeah, I can't think of any more. And that's it's about 10 years old, isn't it now? 15 years old?
Yeah, probably older. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it was like 2006-ish, 2007. I could be wrong. I usually am.
So the market is open for a comedy sports
2004.
2004?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. It's a fairly niche market, I guess, though. I mean, I'm being honest with you, I don't think I can name too many sports comedy movies.
No.
No.
Yeah, there isn't. Although saying that, there seemed to have been a lot. Like, you would have had Waterboy, you would have had Longest Yard, I guess, all around a similar sort of time. But yeah, it seems to have just like the world grew up, maybe, which is a shame because like some of those films are just awesome.
Yeah, I mean, there's like, because then it's like, oh, okay, then like the sports movies turn dark. Then you have like The Blind Side, which is like you know, a bit more sad. And even like Moneyball talking about like the more like logistical things and stuff like that. I don't know. It just seems like it became more informative than funny.
That's the thing, yeah. We'll just have to write it.
Yeah. Got no choice, have we?
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to ask us?
I mean, what's it like over the pond? I mean, I haven't been, so might as well ask what that's like.
Seeing as you've been both sides, it's probably better for you to answer that one.
It's weird, you know, because like the way you describe Pittsburgh as being this like cultural city with like tons of bars, like this vibrant music scene that's like just sort of bubbling at the surface. Like, so we live quite close to a city called Nottingham, which is like pretty much like smack bang in the middle of England. And to me, that sort of does describe the way that city is. Like, it's got a music scene that's so.
Even Sheffield, maybe as well.
Yeah, like although Sheffield's got like the big arena, although Nottingham has actually, to be fair. But so I don't know if you have this in America, where like big like banks and corporations will buy small venues, so it will change its name to like, I don't know, like the Chase Academy, or I don't know, like an example. But like Nottingham has a venue called Rock City, and it began as Rock City, and even now it's still Rock City. Like, it's like the last true independent venue I can think of. But yeah, but although I say the difference is that you guys have got this election circus. I'll use that word, I think.
Oh, I mean, I'm not kidding you. Thank God it's over. The polls were yesterday. Like, woo, we're done. Yeah. We made it. But like, on Saturday, I had 8 texts from political people that are not in my contacts. Like, really? And I got like 3 or 4 different emails every single day. Like, I'm just constantly blocking it. Like, it's just funny though, because like I'm not gonna get super political here, but like instead of like talking about your like platform and what you plan on using, it's just smear campaigns. That's all it is. Like, how am I supposed to vote for somebody when it's just constant slander thrown back and forth, you know? But I'm done with that political rant. But I just think it's funny. I'm happy it's over. You know, the grass is greener on the other side. We're all good.
Yeah. Bring back Jed Bartlett is what I say. It's always good to have a fictional president, I think. That was fun. So yeah. Anything else? We've got 9 minutes.
I mean, we'll ask you then, Shane. Is there anything you want to plug? Anything I mean, we mentioned the band and stuff, but is there anything you're working on? Anything you want people to know?
I mean, we're working on some new music, so stay tuned for that. We got a new single called Sick of You out, came about a month ago. So if you guys want to go stream that, it'd be awesome. And if you're in the Pittsburgh area and you want to come to a show, we're playing one on Monday. I don't know if this will come out by then or not, but if it doesn't, we just stay tuned, follow us on all of our socials, and we play shows around all the time. So we're also working on a tour for spring and summertime. So we'll be around.
Awesome.
So where can we find you on social media?
So it's at Main Street Detour on everything. Luckily, nobody, makes a Instagram closing off a road. So we locked off on that
one. Listen, Shane, it's been an absolute pleasure. Like, this has been such a good chat. Like, I mean, we wish you well in your band and the future. Hope you break through the Pittsburgh scene, and hope it just goes beyond, and hope you find yourself on the road somewhere, just gigging with like the biggest bands. Like, let's say like 10 years time, Blink-182 do like I don't know what it'd be, like a 40-year anniversary.
Something like that. I think that'd be absolutely awesome.
you guys are just there on the support, just like, yeah. No, we wish you well, dude. I think, I think your band's got a good future ahead of you.
Thank you for having me on here, and likewise to you guys. I hope you do well and everything. So
yeah, awesome. Thanks for talking to us, dude. Have a great day.
Yeah, you as well, man.
See you later.